Dakini is a female embodiment of enlightenment in the ancient Indian language of Sanskrit. Dakini literally means sky dweller or sky dancer. It is also the most sacred aspect of feminine principle in Tantra and Tibetan Buddhism. The Dakini represents the ever-changing flow of energy with which the yogic practitioner must work in order to become realized. Traditionally, the term Dakini has been used for outstanding female practitioners, consorts of great masters, and to denote the enlightened female principle of non-duality which transcends gender. Now we see a terrestrial as well as a cosmic approach of understanding Dakinis. She is called the formless wisdom, nature of the mind itself. On an inner ritual level, she is a meditational deity. On an outer subtle body level, she is an energetic network of embodied mind in the subtle channels and vital breath of tantric yoga. Chinnamasta is depicted as a girl of 16 years, decorated with garland of skulls and necklace of bones. She wears on her naked body a serpent as a sacred thread, and she has full breasts covered by lotus flowers and strings of beads. But the most terrifying aspect of her is that she has her own head cut out with a sword and holds in her hands her severed head. The blood rushing out of her decapitated head sprouts in 3 jets. The central jet streams into the mouth of her own head, usually held in her left hand, while the other 2 jets of blood fall into the mouths of her 2 companions, Dakini and Varnini, standing on her either sides. Chinnamasta, in a single frame, makes a stunning presentation of varying and conflicting aspects of life and death, of self-destruction while nurturing others, of death by violence and enjoyable sex, of violence, spilling blood and smiling blissful face. Death and destruction placed next to creation, of the joy of transcending the body and not the pain of losing it, and of giving up the ego to attain wisdom. It combines in itself the elements of heroism, terror, and eroticism. A composite picture of life where all life events become important parts of unified scheme. It enfolds the entire multiplicity of life. Chinnamasta in her energetic form shows the power of transformation in action. Taken all together, the symbolism in Chinnamasta's depiction represents the transcendence of the body. Standing on the couple having sex, she has mastered physical body, and then by cutting off her head, she frees the mind. Her happy face shows the joy that she feels in bringing together life, sex, and death. 3 forms of transformation, 3 parts of the cycle. Stories of her origin vary, but one relates that Parvati was taking bath with her 2 attendants, Jaya and Vijaya. When the attendants asked the goddess to satisfy their hunger, after putting them off several times, Parvati looked all around and then cut off her own head. 3 streams of blood came from her neck. One went to the mouth of Jaya, one went to the mouth of Vijaya, and the last to the mouth of Parvati herself. At this point, Parvati is transformed into the goddess Chinnamasta, whose name literally means severed head. When they were satisfied, she put her head back on, became Parvati again, and went home. In other versions, the attendants are named Dakini and Varnini, and Chinnamasta is standing on a couple in the middle of having sex. The couple is Rati, goddess of sexual desire, and her husband Kama, the god of love. Goddess Chinnamasta is a mystery and signifies spiritual truth regarding the fulfillment of worldly desires. In certain pictures, she is depicted as standing on the body of a female who has been copulating with a male lying beneath her. It is from her navel that the divine Yoni chakra is originated. Her body is covered by the four directions in place of clothes. She is believed to be eternal even though her head is removed from the body. Her two main qualities are highlighted by the features of her companions. The goddess is the image of sexual energy, and her removed head is the symbol of inherent achievements. Her consciousness in creativity is represented by her garlands of skulls.
She is called a pure yogini. This is why she is called by names like Vajra Yogini, Supreme Dakini, or Paradakini. Those who wish to get empowered with the occult worship her. Her left foot is positioned in a manner that shows she is ready to move or is always on the go. In her hand, she also carries a knife, also with her removed head. A serpent is around her neck, and she has 3 eyes. Despite all her fearsome features, she is considered sattvic and very feminine. Once she blesses the devotee, he is protected for life and afterlife. The Devi is harsh on herself as she sacrifices her head. As she has immense self-control, she is considered a yogi of the finest order. Since she is able to sacrifice her own head, it means she is capable of spiritual advancement. Chinnamasta's image represents maybe the most energetic form of manifestation of the goddess Shakti, indicating the power of transformation in full action. As a result of this fact, the cut head does not appear as lifeless, but it is even more alive than previous. The consciousness is not limited at the dimensions and functions of the body, but it exists separately from it. Only when it is freed from the prison of the body, the consciousness can express itself, acquiring the profound divine freedom and knowledge. Even if the idea of transcending consciousness can be frightened, for certain people, the idea of remaining confined to the bodily consciousness and being subject to the influence of the body and death appears even more fearful. From this point of view, we can say that Chinnamasta acts mainly in what we call the intermediary world. In that world that connects the transcendent aspect of the manifestation with the material one. Thus, she represents the lightning that unifies the sky and the earth, which are analogically associated with the mind and the body of the human being. Her fundamental goal is to free the people from limitations inherent to their condition of incarnate spirits. In the terrestrial approach, she is also spoken of as a living woman. She may be a guru on a throne or a yogini meditating in a remote cave, a powerful teacher of meditation, or a guru's consort teaching directly through her life example. Dakinis may differ differently in various contexts. When needed, she may appear as a fierce and intense, or playful and nourishing. At times, she may appear outrageous or repulsive. Dakinis guard the most private details of spiritual practice so that only those with the purest motivation are able to penetrate its essence. Dakinis are consecrated in the skies by yogis to guard their wisdom or yogic egg that they have laid after lifetimes of yogic and tantric practices. If these energies, eggs, or wisdom is not guarded, it will be used up or exploited by many, and the chosen one may not receive it. So, for the chosen one who comes to this spot on a particular predestined date and time with a perfect level of blissfulness, the Dakini opens up the gates and there will be a spontaneous overflow of wisdom. Just like how a man with the right password accesses the data from a database, he will be able to collect the wisdom. Here we see Dakini as a consecrated deity, the cosmic approach. This process of accessing the wisdom and experience of a yogi who lived years ago is a very rare gift. And I'm happy to know one such gifted man, my Guru Uralathu Prakasham. He was a man who used to run his livelihood with different businesses, an ordinary temple visiting typical Hindu. Even though he was not into any procedures, he used to visit his Kul Devata temple and used to take care of the activities there. When he was around 30 years old, the previous Madhadipati of his Kul Devata temple gave him a tantric initiation, passing over the energies he had into my Guru. It was like a thunder. He started to change. He was driven by a great energy who was educating him without even his awareness. Until one day night, he appeared and introduced himself as Uralathu Kunyiraman Muttappan. He was an ancient ancestor whose tales were then known only by a few members in the family. He is a Vairagi Aghori, master of all occult, tantra, yoga, and aghori kriyas. With his blessings, my Guru was able to access great wisdom and he rapidly evolved to a stage where Kunyiraman Muttappan takes over his body and talks to people and gives solutions to their problems.